Hey guys, Akil here. Welcome back to another episode of the Trading Coach Podcast. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about productivity and something that Microsoft is doing to help their employees, become more productive. But first and foremost, as always, thank you guys for checking out the show. Just got another update by Apple or whoever tracks these things that we are still one of the most popular Forex and trading related podcasts out there. So yeah, right? Good for us. But if you guys are new, that's not the point of this show. I can care less about rankings and ratings. I'm not trying to monetize this thing, so it doesn't really make a difference. But I know that we're doing good work. And originally, this was an idea that I created mainly because I want to continue to share my journey with you, not just as a trader, not just as a trading coach, not just as an entrepreneur, but a person, a father, a husband as well. And I know that although there are a group of you that get to work with me on a regular basis, and we get to have conversations about all different type of topics, there is also a group of you that doesn't for whatever reason. And I think it's important that you can really get value and gain insight from not only my journey, but the journey of the traders that I'm working with as well. And this is a platform in which we can do that. By the way, if you haven't done so already, make sure you join the Facebook group, the Trading Coach Podcast. That's a place where we're going to start discussing these episodes in more detail. I'm taking this off of the TEDx Circles experiment that they're doing, where if we can bring together people, like-minded people, and discuss these topics, we can see how it relates to us a little bit more. We can take what we learn there, we can take it back to our community, and it's just a better way to reach one, teach one, and just pass the word along. It's also a place where if you do have a topic for the Trading Coach Podcast, you can shoot it there, and perhaps there's a better chance at it becoming an episode. Now, today I want to talk about productivity. I want to share with you an article that was shared with me. The title is Microsoft Japan Experiments with a 3-Day Weekend. Productivity increases by nearly 40%. That's 40. Japan is known for having some of the longest working hours in the world, with nearly a quarter of Japanese companies previously requiring employees to clock in more than 80 hours of overtime a month. That's it. That was nothing compared to my trading journey. That was normal. They were so long that Japan introduced the working days, that is. They were so long that Japan introduced a new law this year limiting legal overtime work to 45 hours a month, the Telegram reported. Microsoft Japan is working to break that trend. Thanks to a bold new strategy it hopes will improve the work-life balance of its workers by implementing a 3-day weekend for its employees. They found that when a company decreased hours of its work week, productivity actually increased. A surprising result, considering Japan is one of the most overworked and least productive workforces among G7 nations, according to a CNBC report that used data from OECD, Compendium of Productivity Indicators. Wow. In August, the company carried out a working reform project called the Work-Life Choice Challenge Summer 2019. For 1 month in August, they gave their 2,300 employees every Friday off during the month. The result found that even with the additional day, productivity within the company increased by 39.9%. The study found a major factor in the productivity increase was a result of meeting changes. The 4-day work week forced employees to use their time more efficiently, so many of the meetings were either cut, shortened, or changed to virtual meetings instead of in-person, according to the outlet. Now, real quick on this, right? I'm someone that I've worked in a lot of, obviously I work for myself, but I've worked with a lot of companies as well as an independent contractor. I'm a person that is on the board of a few nonprofits and really a few masterminds as well. And I can tell you that most meetings are a complete waste of time. I absolutely hate them. For you guys that know me, I'm not, I enjoy the small talk sometimes, right? But I don't enjoy the small talk when we're supposed to be doing something else. That's kind of how I work, right? I like small talk if we're just kind of in a natural setting, like a social or something like that. But if you call for a meeting and I'm scheduling time out of my very busy day to do this meeting, I hate when we spend the first half an hour of a meeting just talking about stuff that does not make a difference. I'm sure many of you guys are the same. Your office or your job has a meeting and you're like, why are we here? right? Or either it's a meeting and it's like 2 minutes long. Like, why did I commute just to have this meeting? So I definitely think meetings, especially like face-to-face meetings, are, for the most part, a complete waste of time. So cutting that out, boom, big positive. Anyway, employees also took 25.4% fewer days off during the month, printed 58.7% fewer pages, and used 23.1% less electricity in the office, the study concluded. While this strategy won't work for every type of job, the majority of employees at Microsoft Japan were big supporters of the new initiative. The outlet said that 92.1% of employees said they liked the 4-day work week at the end of its trial run in August. Due to the success of the program, Microsoft says it plans on implementing it again next summer or at other dates in the future. Now, for you guys that are working for an employer, obviously you don't have a choice. But for you guys that are entrepreneurs, for you guys that are maybe trading full-time perhaps, I think this is a brilliant idea. This is something that actually I implemented into my own personal schedule probably about a year and a half ago, about 2 years ago, actually, January 2018, it had to be. And keep in mind, I come from a place where I'm a workaholic. Like, I am someone that I will outwork anyone else. I have an incredible motor, meaning I can wake up at 5 and I can go till 12 o'clock at night if I wanted to, right? I just have that internal motivation, that drive, desire, that competitiveness to outwork every single person. And especially if it's something I'm passionate about and I see the light at the end of the tunnel, I just want to do it more. However, something that changed massively in my life was children. Never did I understand how much time, effort, and energy children take out of your life. And it's not only just the fact that, you want to be a good parent and you want to take care of your children, but it also happens that work is not necessarily the priority. Priorities kind of shift, where when you're a workaholic, when you're an entrepreneur, your business is your baby, right? This is your thing that you've invested in, you've nursed, you've developed. This is your baby. It gets all of your attention. When you have real babies, they tend to outweigh the entrepreneur baby. So the priorities kind of shift. And it took me a while to really find that balance. I struggled a lot because, I'm someone that is stubborn. I wanted the best of both worlds. I'm like, how can I still work 18 hours a day and take care of my kids? I got to be able to do both. And there just wasn't. And I found that not only was I becoming less productive because I was just sacrificing time. Instead of working, 18 hours a day, I was working maybe 9 hours a day, something like that. So I was getting half the amount of work done. But I was also a lot more tired because, maybe it's just my kids, and you guys that met them at the trading ball, you know exactly how it is. Or for you guys that follow me on social media, my kids are energy balls, right? They do not run out, right? Remember that Energizer Bunny commercial back in the day? Keeps going and going and going and going, right? That's what my kids are on. It's like they're on crack. They keep going. They keep going. It's incredibly draining. So it was crucial that I started, my business started lacking, right? I started seeing drops in my performance in business. I started seeing drops in my health because I just wasn't taking care of myself the way that I was used to. And all of a sudden, I just saw my life trending in the wrong direction. We went from an uptrend to a downtrend, and kind of I started to see the writing on the wall. I'm not going to last doing this, right? My business is going to suffer to the point where I'm no longer profitable, and that is a problem. My health is going to deteriorate to the point where I can't grow old and play with my kids. That is a problem. So it introduced a sense of urgency to me that something has to be done. And I embarked on this journey of looking for ways to become more efficient and more productive, right? I know we've had the conversation here in the past on the podcast where it's like, I always say I would take the harder worker than the smarter worker. And I would. If I'm an employee hiring someone, I'm going to take the harder worker because I'm going to teach them how to be smart. But for me, because I already had that hardworking trait, right? That wasn't a problem. I had to learn how to be smarter with my time. And there were a few techniques I learned. There's a podcast episode called the Pomodoro Technique, which is a time management program where basically you set a clock and you're focused on a single task for that time, and then you have a break, and then you're focused purely on your break during that break. That has helped. There are other podcast episodes on ways to become more productive. But a big thing for me was working less. And what I did in 2018 was I opened up my Fridays, right? I made Fridays my quote unquote off day. Now, if you know me, right, I can't be off, right? I am always on. I can very rarely can I be completely off. But what it meant by off is I was off from trading. Because you see, the balance of what I'm doing here as a trading coach is I'm a full-time trader, right? So I need to focus on the markets. I'm also a full-time trading coach. I need to focus on my clients. It's a very hard combination because, again, with time being what it is and not being able to gain more of it, you're often hit with this dilemma: do I help my clients or do I help myself? And for me, the passion, I'm passionate about trading, but the real passion comes from providing value to my clients. I would much rather help a client than help myself. I just see that as kind of bigger picture, legacy wise, being the most important thing. So my trading was slacking. So what I decided to do was I'm going to stop my day trading on Fridays. And I'm not a big day trader anyway. I really started day trading just because of the coaching aspects of it. But I said, I'm gonna stop my day trading Friday. I'm not gonna have any type of live room Friday. I'm gonna free up my Fridays. So essentially it's like the third day of my weekend. Now, what freeing up my Friday does is it gives me a free day where one, I can, if I have a big workout plan for the week, I do it on Friday, like a long run or a long bike ride or a swim or something like that. If I do have some leisurely activity, then I can do it on Friday. And I know I still have 2 other days to kind of do stuff on. But usually what happens on Fridays is I just have freedom to do whatever I want. And I typically use it as a day to work on my business, so work on the business aspects, whether I'm tracking trade results for the week, whether I'm working on content for Tier 1 trading, whether I'm working on content for here, the Trading Coach podcast, whether I'm doing something with the real estate business, whether I'm doing something with the nonprofits I work for, track and field. It doesn't matter what it is, right? I have that whole day available to do whatever I want. And just the fact that I have that freedom, I don't have a set schedule, allows me to really do what I want in a very motivated and empowered way because I want to do it. But I'm kind of, my back's not against the wall. I have a freedom to operate at my own will because it's my free day. And usually my most inspirational moments come from that. And I become so much more productive, right? I can bang out, 4 or 5 tasks easily, right? The other day, I set all my podcast episodes for the month of October, or the month of November, in about a 2-day span. And there was no time limit. I didn't have to do it, but I just had the freedom to do it. I'm like, hey, let's just get it out the way and open up some time later on in the month. So having that extra day where you don't have to rush and I don't have to rush and be super productive on the business side of things during the week and really overload myself, that allows me to focus on my trading more during the week. That allows me to focus on my family more during the week. And then on Fridays, that extra weekend day where my kids are in school, or at least they're away for a portion of the day, I don't have any trading obligations. I can now get all my business stuff done on that single day. And now I've found that balance where I'm no longer stressed. I am getting everything I ultimately want to get done. I'm just shifting it around in a way that's more comfortable for me. And technically, again, it still is an off day. But again, if you know me, I can't take off. I'm not wired to do that. If I go more than 12 hours with doing any type of work, I start freaking out. It's just gift and a curse. And that's one of the reasons I've been so productive in life, because I love what I do and I have the desire to do it. But it's also a curse because I'm a workaholic. I don't take vacations. When I'm on vacation, I rarely, I try to sneak away from the wife and do some work on vacations as well. So that's just how I'm wired. I've accepted that fact, but I love what I do, so I don't necessarily see it as work. But the point is, we have this set amount of time. We want to be as efficient as possible. We want to be as productive as possible. Adding that extra day of freedom, even though it seems as if you lose an extra day of work, can actually make you so much more productive during the week, because just like the Pomodoro Technique, now there's that urgency. Instead of having 5 days to get something done, I have 4 days to get something done. So let's get off the social media, let's get off the phone, let's get off, whatever Netflix thing I'm streaming. Let's focus purely on the work, right? Let's get out of these dumb meetings. Let's focus purely on the work. Let's get what we need to get done now and then we can relax later. And if you think about it, it's highly motivating. If you know, it's very similar to, I used to have professors in school where it's like, hey, you know, group project, you got to answer these 10 questions. Whenever you're done these 10 questions, you can leave class early, right? So kind of having that carrot on the string, like, wait a minute, you're telling me if we do what we need to do, I don't have to stay for this hour, 20-minute class. I can leave in an hour? Yeah. Hey guys, let's get to work. Let's not play around. I'm trying to go. Let's get to work, and we get stuff done and we get out. I look at it as being the same way, right? I come in each day, I get stuff in, and I get out. So again, try it. Again, if you are, if you're working for someone, maybe convince your employer, make a deal like, hey boss, if I can get my week's worth of stuff done in 4 days, can I get an extra day? But definitely, if you're someone that creates your own schedule, right? Make it purposeful. Make it purposeful. Be purposeful about what you do and when you do it and how you do it, and give yourself maybe that extra off day just as a chance to relax, a chance to become more creative, more inspired, and I think that will actually help your productivity in the long run.